स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्द.
The today's subject, Sutra, is a great technique to achieve enlightenment for people who are connected to music and who are poets. Shiva gives enlightenment technique for all kinds of human beings. The Shiva Sutra speaks about 112 meditation techniques which can lead to enlightenment all possible human beings. Now he is giving a powerful technique. Let me read the sutra, then enter into the technique itself. Let you be centered on the sound of the Om, without akara, without makara, just on ukara. And very experience of being centered on the center of the mantra, let you be liberated into the cosmic consciousness. Pinda mantrasya sarvasya stula varna kramena tu ardhendu bindunadanta sunyoscharat bhaves shivaha. The meaning or the depth of the Sanskrit sloka is so beautiful. When I translate, any translation looks very pearl, very pale, very empty. The truth which Shiva wants to express through this sutra can't be expressed by translation. Maybe if I create the same energy, then I can do true to the Shiva, what Shiva wants. Understand? Adding few words or translating, I can't do true to Shiva. No. If I create the same ambience, same energy field, reproducing the same technique, same meditation, and help you all to enter into that same space, then I can be happy that I am doing something true to Shiva. This technique is such a subtle but powerful technique. Anybody who is more sensitive to ears, more sensitive to sound, can become enlightened. How to find out whether I am sensitive to sound or not? If you are constantly irritated by any small sound, be very clear, this is for you. It is not that just enjoying music, just being a poet, that you are in tune with the sound. Even if you are constantly irritated by a small sound, you are qualified for this meditation. Many times I have seen these people who want to meditate, they will create so much of sound to create silence in their house. They will be the most noisy people, shouting at everybody, keep quiet, don't you know I am going to meditate, don't do this, don't do that. And the whole house will become topsy-turvy. More than their silence, the sound which they create, the sound, the noise which they create will be amazing. If you are irritated by some sound constantly, even then you are qualified for this meditation, this technique. Shiva is such a powerful energy. He gives techniques for all possible beings. Only thing, when I try to translate, I feel the whole meaning can never be translated. He says, Pindamatrasya sarvasya stulavarana kramena tu. You need to understand the science of sound. All our sounds can be reduced to the 52 syllables of Sanskrit, and the whole Sanskrit can be reduced to Omkara. The whole Omkara can be reduced to the center sound of Omkara. Has got three sounds, A, U, Ma. It can be reduced to the central sound of O or U, the center vibration. You centering yourself in that center vibration, you can just go beyond the language, verbalization. Understand this logic? Your verbalization, your mind is nothing but the 52 sounds of that Sanskrit syllables. You can even say English language, whatever language you know. All the sounds, the beauty of Sanskrit language is, all possible sounds are described in those 52 syllables. Sanskrit language is not just linguistic, created to convey, to transmit some ideas, prose or logic. Sanskrit is created to transmit a kind of a vibration also. It has got phonetic importance also. That is why our mantras are chanted even if you don't understand the meaning. If you understand, okay, you can feel connected. Even if you don't understand, those vibrations will work on you. They have phonetic importance. They are not just linguistic. In the East, language is used to transmit vibrations. That is why when an enlightened master utters the mantra, it is called initiation, diksha. Those vibrations straight away penetrates your being and starts working on you. Even if you don't understand the meaning. It may be surprising, because in the West, from the beginning you are taught, don't do anything which you don't understand. But in the East, the language was created, the technique was designed with a far more deeper, profound understanding. Do something even if you don't understand, is the Eastern masters. Don't do anything if you don't understand, the Western logic. That is why the ABCD, American born confused desis, kids who are born here are suffering. Understand? I am not saying don't try to understand. Try to understand, but even if you don't understand, Sanskrit will have its own effect over you. Will create its own effect on your being, because that language is not just linguistic, it is phonetic also. World's most preserved, to true to its form, scripture is Vedic literatures. After 10,000 years, the chanting method, not only the word or letter, even the way in which it is chanted, Udata, Swarita or elongation, even the way in which it is chanted, going up and down, is preserved same. That will be the real thing, all you need to understand. In India, we had enough of enlightened masters who commented on each Upanishad and each scripture as they want. Sometime you will be shocked if you see two enlightened masters commentary, two acharyas commentary on same Upanishad. You will just run away. No, really. If you see the commentary of Shankara and Ramanuja and Madhva same scriptures, you will be shocked. What is going on? They are ready to go to any extreme to present their understanding, their theory, but never changed the sutra itself. If they want, they could have done it. They had enough power. They never did it. They always fight in their commentary, but the original sutra is preserved just because of phonetic importance. One more thing, in the Vedic tradition, when an enlightened master utters some words in Sanskrit, even if there is a grammatical mistake, grammatical error, grammar error, it is not corrected. It is taken as it is. It's called Arsha Prayoga. When a rishi utters, even if it is with a mistake, even if there is a grammar mistake, it is not corrected. It is accepted as the ultimate. And grammar is changed according to their expression. You will be surprised to see the freedom given to them, because they are trying to express which is inexpressible. They are trying to tell something which is beyond body and mind, which is beyond your logic. So very difficult. That is why they are given that liberation, freedom, to use their own way of expression. No grammar binds them. And these acharyas who commented also, they had their own interpretations, but never changed the original sutra, original word itself, because they know it has got phonetic importance also, not just linguistic. Not just linguistic. It has got phonetic importance also.